Okay, and we are live. Hey everyone, welcome to another exciting episode and a fantastic voyage of Filmlites, the new channel on the Handsome Cobra, or new show on the Handsome Cobra channel, excuse me. And we are going to get into a little something here that is called The Power of the Dark Crystal. Now, you're probably wondering why. Probably one asking yourself, it's like, The Power of the Dark Crystal, is that a new movie? And it's like, actually, no, it's actually a graphic novel that is a sequel to the movie The Dark Crystal, because the prequel that's out on Netflix, The Dark Crystal, The Age of Resistance, talks about the division between the Skeksis and the Gelflings and the Podlings and all that jazz. But this is actually based off of screenplays that the Jim Henson Company were going to do, because before they were going to do the prequel, they actually were going to do a sequel to The Dark Crystal. They had that in a while. They had writers of these screenplays. First one is Craig Pierce. Next one is Annette Duffy, and I believe the third person is David Odell. And it's based off of their screenplays, and the graphic novel writer is actually Simon Spurrier, and the artists are Kelly and Nicole Matthews. They are two sisters that do independent comic book work. So yeah, that's what this story, The Power of the Dark Crystal, is based off of. Because apparently Lisa Henson didn't want to do live action, so she was like, you know what, Simon Spurrier, you take the reins, and Nicole and Kelly, you make a fantastic graphic novel, and I believe it's published by Boom Studios, if I'm not mistaken. And it's you can get them in trade paperback. It actually started out as a 12-issue maxi series for it, which I believe there's 3 volumes. So volume 1 is the first 4 issues, and then volume 2 is the next 4, and so on and so on. So that way you get 12. But yeah, and then there's another one. I know there's a sequel to the sequel, and we'll probably get into that a little bit later too. Not on this episode, but we'll probably get into it on another episode of the show. But yeah, this is just wanted to say real quick that I am your host, Handsome Cobra, also known on the YouTubes and interwebs as Gregory Cobrana. And yeah, this is Filmlites, no filler, all killer. Sorry if I seem a little out of it, folks. I think I'm coming down with a little something, so if I seem a little out of it today, I do apologize, but I am going to try my hardest, my damnedest, to get all hyped up as we do here on the Handsome Cobra channel. Because yeah, no one likes a party pooper. So this is how we do it. We're going to get into basically my thoughts on the book, like a generalized thought of the actual story, what I liked, what I didn't like, what I would have liked to have seen, what I would like to maybe see in the future, things like that, things of that nature, and just like my overall takeaway from the book and overall thoughts about and probably maybe get into it, why they didn't do it as a movie, a live action or a puppeteer movie, and just went with the prequel instead of doing this as a sequel. Okay, so let's we're going to deep dive into it right now, into the power of the Dark Crystal. And so it starts out in the world of Thrall. We go back to the world of Thrall, as is said in the Dark Crystal, but we are jumping 100 years after the events of the Dark Crystal, where I do apologize for that, excuse me, where the Urskeks have supposedly gone back to the cosmos because they rejoined with because the Urskeks were separated by the first great conjunction, excuse me, and they got separated into two beings, the bad side and the good side, which is the Skeksis of the bad side of the Urskeks, and the good side, you guessed it, are the Mystics or the Uru. And then that's kind of like where the name comes from. You have the and the Skeks. So Skeksis, Uru. Combine them, Urskeks. There you go. Beautiful thing. But yeah, so we have that. We have them back together again. I mean, everything. The Dark Crystal is no longer the Dark Crystal. Is back to the Crystal of Truth. And in this time, we have the castle of the Crystal of Truth. Well, you know, like the Skeksis made their home there. Well, now future generations of Gelflings, because apparently either Jen and Kira, the two remaining Gelflings of the world of Thrall, must have repopulated like rabbits, or the children of another tale or mythology, as some people like to say, children Noah. And they populated land, or all of a sudden, when everything just got right, Gelflings just popped out of thin air. That must have been the other alternative. But yeah, the Gelflings are back and in the saddle again, and they are in charge. And they are so in charge that if you want the healing power of the Dark Crystal, of the Crystal of Truth, you have to basically have an offering ready to go. So during this time, there has been this thing called the Blight that has been on the outskirts, I should say, of where the crystal shines the most. So like you have like the inner rim, and on the outer rim, the crystal doesn't shine that much, but you have what's called the Blight, and the only way to get rid of Blight is using fire or by the power of the Crystal of Truth. And so Gelflings will come and they will give offerings to the crystalline eminence, which is basically the Gelfling in charge of directing who gets to come and worship to the crystal, who gets in, who doesn't, things of that nature. And they put their offerings or their treasure at the foot of the crystal, kind of like the circular base of the crystal where it floats up. And well, you're probably like, well, where's Jen and Kira? Well, apparently they are in a deep slumber for some time now, like in some type of suspended animation. And that's why you have the crystalline eminence taking control. Kind of like, basically, where they are the king and queen of Thrall for the Gelflings. Well, the crystalline eminence would be the prime minister. He's the one in charge. And basically, doesn't seem like a really cool dude. Because there are podlings there that basically their child is sick and is near death, but another Gelfling by the name of Kensho, he actually gives them a token for an offering, and allows them to go in and have their child healed. Because apparently the crystalline eminence said that their first offering was a no-go. So Kensho saw this, gave them his offering that he was going to give, and basically their child is no longer on death's door, and it's all good. And then we go in a little bit. We find we establish that Kensho is like one of the new main protagonists. And we find a fireling. Yeah, there's firelings now, and they come from Mithra, which is basically I guess a world within a world, like in the center of Thrall. Mithra is. And then we have Thorma, this fireling lady, who her mother is the Ember Queen, and basically she was given the power of the embers, and she has like 5 days to return, because apparently they are not receiving the light of the crystal of truth anymore, and basically their sun in the inner core is burning out, and everyone's losing their heat, and they're on the verge of death because it's getting all cold. Well, that goes on and then we meet her. Well, she starts because she's a fire-based person. Well, she kind of burns out the blight a little bit around the outskirts, but also too she starts burning crops and stuff like that, and vegetation so the gelflings, the farmer gelflings won't have stuff for the winter coming up, and because the crops are all burned and stuff like that. And so she gets in a bit. So hijinks ensue with this fireling Therma. And yeah, so we and then all of a sudden, because there's this prophecy that she says that they just need a slither of the crystal of truth to reignite their sun. And so what her goal is to basically break the crystal of truth, and take a shard of it, and take that back down to Mithra, and reignite their sun. Well, turns out if you break the crystal of truth, well, it becomes a damn dark crystal again. And apparently, here's some messed up retconning that, well, the Skeksis come back and show do the Uru too, because apparently, like in the movie, at the end of the Dark Crystal, they go back up into the cosmos. They're like bye bye, but apparently no, that wasn't the case. They were trapped in the crystal of truth this whole damn time. Well, ain't that some bullshit? And I had to scratch my head at that one. And yeah, so the Skeksis come back. The Lord Chamberlain, he's up to some hijinks for this. His old whiny cry bullshit that he does during the first movie and Age of Resistance. That 10-hour movie. And this guy's one persistent bastard, because he just wants the crystal shard for himself, because he's like the shard of the crystal of truth, of the dark crystal, is true power. And so yeah, so Lord Chamberlain is hijinks ensue. So they come back after the crystal is broken. Well, you can guess that Jen and Kira, well, they awaken out of their suspended animation slumber, because apparently Kira, since like she was fatally wounded in the Dark Crystal and she was revived by the Urskeks, she is intertwined with the crystal. So if the crystal dies, she dies, because apparently the healing powers of the crystal, that's the way she was revived. So the crystal has to be whole again. And there's this prophecy that says that one one world has to end for another one to survive, or something like that. And I'm going to tell you that prophecy is a bunch of bullshit. Oh yeah, Mother Agra's in there, and she doesn't like really do a whole heck of a lot in it. I mean, she kind of she's there as a familiar character. I mean, she does do some things. I mean, she does look to the cosmos. She does her orrery is rebuilt again, and so she tries to get signs from the cosmos, and that's where she gets, because she's like, we don't have prophecies anymore because all the prophecies have been fulfilled. We got to find new prophecies. A new one needs to be made. So she looks at the cosmos and the stars, and goes out feeling around the universe for a new prophecy, which she gets. And yeah, so, and then that's when hijinks ensue again, and then so the Skeksis are back and meaner than ever. And so Jen has to do one of the things that he thought he would never do, and that's take the scepter of the Grotham, the scepter that controls the Grotham, and has to basically use it against the Skeksis. And basically, yeah, he locks them up and imprisons them in the dungeons. And then, well, Kenshu and Therma, basically, Kenshu says to Therma, "Listen, look, I can see that you're a good person. I wanna help, and I believe in you. That if you say that the crystal, this crystal shard, can reignite your sun, and it helps your people from dying, then I wanna be a part of that adventure, and then I can bring the crystal back, and bring the shard back, make the crystal whole again. Bada bing, bada boom. All right, we're good to go." And then so that's how. So they take off. They call them fugitives. And Kenshu is also in indentured servitude, because basically, like I said before about the blight, like his whole village had the blight, and the thing is that he went there, and the crystalline eminence basically denied all of them. They said that their tribute wasn't good enough, and he basically bargained with him. He said, "Listen, look, I'll do anything you want. I'll scrub the toilets. I'll do whatever. I'll brush, clean all the cracks and the and the crystal castle. Whatever you want there, bud. Just let these people be healed by the crystal of truth, and I'll be in. And you can have me as long as until my debt's paid off." And so he agreed to those terms, and basically everybody in Kenshu's village was healed, and he got the short end of that stick. And because it was his mother and like his friends and family and stuff like that. And so yeah, so that's how he becomes indentured servitude and indentured servant, and that's how he comes to be. And the thing is, he kind of, I guess one could say he reneges on that deal, but for good reasons, because they were trying to kill this fireling, Therma, and he was like, whoa, this is crazy, trying to kill this. And Therma's trying to explain, hey, there's a world within a world here, and my world's getting extinguished, so I came up here to ask you for help. And basically what's happened is that the Gelflings, with their infinite wisdom, have gotten greedy, and Jen and Kira have become bitches, and they kind of just said, okay, we're going to go in this slumber here, and the crystalline eminence is going to take charge. We're not going to give a fuck about it, people. And yeah, so, and then you have chaos ensue, and greed and pout, and it's like what they say, absolute power corrupts absolutely. And that's what happens to the Gelflings. And you kind of question the Skeksis. Maybe they should have wiped those little bastards out from the beginning. Those little sons of bitches. Kind of makes you wonder. Oh, hubris. Got into the old Gelflings. Something they learned from them Skeksis. I'd say. But yeah, so we go on this adventure for 12 issues with them. Oh yeah, and the Mystics, the old Uru, well, they're back there. They're back at the castle with the Skeksis. Well, now they're locked up. But they're actually singing. They actually sing this tune. And oh yeah, these big dumb looking giraffe dinosaur triceratops looking motherfuckers. Well, they're like, well, we won't get involved because this is the Gelflings thing. You know, whatever Thrall thinks best, it's on them. We won't get involved, but we'll hum a tune for them and Thrall. So they start chanting or singing, I should say. And then one of the mystics, Urus, is actually named the Chanter, of all things. And he's a bit of the rogue, if you will, of the mystics. And he actually gives old Mother Agra a tuning fork so she can basically find this new prophecy. And what we come to find out is that the Chanter, later on, kind of starts a new great conjunction, the third great conjunction of all things. Kind of speeds up the process a little bit so they don't have to wait 1,000 Thrine or 1,000 years for this motherfucker to happen again. Because while the other ones are singing their fucking pop, tune, pop hit, one hit wonder, he's over here playing some indie rock, singing his own damn thing, out of tune. And Mother Agra hears and sees that, and it's like, well, he's all out of key. What the hell's going on? And yeah, that's why. And so we come to find out that, well, we get a little bit of backstory. I'm not going to go into the whole thing here. I'm just trying to paint the picture, paint a picture on a broad canvas with a fine tip brush for you lovely people. And so that's basically what's kind of going on, and then other things go on in it. Now I will get into it. So the things that I did like, I like that it was a continuation of the story. I'm glad that we are back in the world of Thrall of the Dark Crystal. That an actual sequel has been made. I will say that the writing is okay. I mean, it is what it is. Simon Spurrier not really blowing up my skirt or anything like that. The art, the covers of it by Jay Lee are phenomenal. He does the first issue retail cover. So, like if you went to a comic book shop or a hobby shop or your local drugstore, and they have the Power of the Dark Crystal issue 1, well, that's the one that you would probably get. The A cover is what they would call it, by Jay Lee. Really good artist. And I would say, I think it's 2 through 4. Well, Jay Lee does covers too, but they're an unlocked retail variant cover. So usually means that it's like 1 in 25, 1 in 50. So that means that retail has to buy 25 issues just to get one of those, right? Or a 1 in 50 would be you have to buy 50 issues to get one of those. Bullshit, right? Yeah. Interior, and interior art, well, it is what it is. And I'll get into that in my negatives. But yeah, just getting back into the world, Therma, I like the Kenshu, I like I like the new protagonists. I think that they're really good, really solid characters. I like that there is a bit of some mystery that sets up for the sequel to the sequel, and you're kind of left like with some breadcrumbs, that they don't really tie up in this one, because you can see that they were thinking ahead, which is cool, because even if they didn't have a sequel to the sequel, then you could just leave it as be, and it's totally fine. Another thing I liked that Kensho, well, his village is actually, because you don't understand, because during the book you're trying to understand, okay, firelings, what, well, ain't never heard of these before, no one's ever heard of them, where the hell did they come from, and come to find out, well, firelings were originally gelflings that basically went into, kind of like how the Groton are, right? They were once, the Grotons are the ones that live in the caves, and basically from being in the cave so long is that they've taken on physical differences, and evolved more to cave living than the sky babies, as they call them, of the gelflings of the other clans. And so because the Grotons have night vision, they can see it in darker places. But the problem is they're really sensitive to the sun. So, the main Groton in Age of Resistance, Deet, at first she has to blindfold her eyes, because the sun is really, she's really sensitive to the radiant light of the sun. So, but later on, she takes the blindfold off, as the story goes. But at first, she's really sensitive to it. Her eyes have to adjust again. And then you've come to find out that, the Grotons used to live at one time above with the other sky babies, but they chose to live in the caves to be closer to Thrall. And basically this is, and so to me, this kind of Mithra is kind of cool, in the sense that it kind of parallels with that, but you actually get that Kensho's village is actually founded by a Crystal Desert Doosan clan member by the name of I think it's Chael, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, Chal. There we go. Yeah, Chal. Chal. I always want to say Chad, but that ain't right. Chal. And he's a former Doosan or Desert Clan member, because there's 7 Gelfling clans. And the thing is that the reason why he's a former one is because he took a mate by the name of Saluna, who Doosan looked to as a barbarian, or she's probably what they would consider a nomad. Basically, she probably just lives. She doesn't. She's not a part of any clan. She just lives free, like the free folk in old Game of Thrones, So, and for taking her as a mate or a bride, he was excommunicated from the Doosan clan, and then he founded with her the village that Kenshu is from. And then they went even further into Thrall, and they founded the Mithra, the I want to say it's not really Ember clan, but they are the ones that kind of have the first fireling child. Because they have like 2 regular gelflings, and then one of them, and then I believe their last child, their third child, is a fireling because of them living in Mithra. You know, getting away from being hunted and stuff like that, because usually the gelflings can't. It's too hot for them to live there. But there is a pool called the Pool of Tears, and apparently the waters there kind of help them to acclimate, or give them like some like magical property to resist the fieriness of the inner core of Thrall or Mithra. And it's pretty cool. I mean, I enjoy it, but you don't really get that backstory until like issue 10. So that's pretty cool. I mean, I like that backstory, that rich tapestry right there. I mean, that's really cool. I did thoroughly enjoy that, learn about that. It was nice to see the Mystics again. I wasn't really, like I said, I mean, just that stuff didn't really blow up my skirt or anything. What else? Seeing Jin take up the scepter of the Gotham, and basically when Kenshu takes the shard of the Crystal of Truth, or the Dark Crystal now, they go after him, and you see Jin. Well, Kira's too weak; she can't. And Jin and Kira, they're like 100 and something. And so you see Jin take up, not really take up arms, but you see him taking up the quest, the adventure, and he's riding on top of a Gotham, basically the same damn beast that killed his clan and Kira's clan too. Their destruction. And it's kind of funny that a gelfling even makes point of that. It's like, you're riding the same. Oh no, I'm sorry. Excuse me. A podling. It's actually the same damn podling, or the podlings that Kenshu gave the tribute to, that they could heal their baby, because they find some tracks, and then the podlings, they hide in like this like burnout tree stump. And then basically they have a chat with Jen, and basically they're saying, hey, the only monsters I see is the one that you're riding on, because I mean, isn't that the beast that destroyed your people back in the day, and you're using it to go after Kenshu and Therma? It's like, Kenshu saved us. She saved our kid. The only monster I see is that one that you're riding on. It's like, it's kind of crazy that you're using that weapon of destruction, same one that almost wiped out your people, to go after him. I thought that was pretty cool. I thought that was a pretty cool moment, because you see Jen just like all like fucking slap jawed, fucking face down, like he got bitch slapped. It was fucking good. That motherfucker got God smacked for a minute. So that was pretty cool. I did like that. I mean, the ending was all right. I mean, it wasn't really too. I mean, it was open ended. And yeah, it was very. I would say that the story is very juvenile. If I had to break it down one word, juvenile. It's yeah. It's not really it's a compelling story, but at times it's a very weak ass story. It's not as weak as a Dark Crystal, I can tell you that. There's actually a fucking plot in this, but yeah, it's not as paper thin though, but it's pretty thin. And so yeah, so the ending, I'm the ending's fine because it's open ended, because you could do a sequel for the sequel, which they did, which they probably planned on doing, but they didn't know if maybe I can see that maybe they didn't know if they would or not. I mean, that's like Terminator 2 Judgment Day. I mean, excuse me. They had an ending where it was like actually closed. There was an original ending with Sarah Connor, and Judgment Day is supposed to happen because you see these flashes of her seeing Judgment Day happen, and she's with John, and they're at a playground, and she gets all burned up by a nuclear blast at Ground Zero. Well, they're there. Well, the original ending was like they're there, and at that time that the Judgment Day was supposed to happen doesn't happen, and then they could just go home. They get in the car, go home. After they play in the public park and stuff like that. But James Cameron was like, well, maybe we could mine something else, or just leave it open ended for interpretation. Well, maybe Judgment Day happens, maybe it doesn't happen. Who knows? And that's why they had that shot of like the highway or the road at night, just going. So yeah, so that's like a little parallel that this does. Leaves it open ended. But yeah, so I talked about my likes. I know it wasn't a lot. So that means that it's time to get in for the dislikes. All right, so here we go. So my dislikes, I will say this right now off the top of the bat. What the fuck are the Skeksis and the Urus doing back? Because basically they're supposed to be in the cosmos, baby. They weren't trapped in the crystal. That is some fucked up continuity shit that you just, I mean, Simon Spurrier or Craig Pierce, Annette Duffy, or David Odell are fucking morons. Okay? It's like, did you watch the movie? There's a movie made by a guy named Jim Henson. I know he's dead, but fuck. Watch it. Learn some shit before you start putting this out. Because it's crazy. It's nuts. I don't understand it. Because you're telling me that Skeksis and the Mystics are trapped in the fucking crystal. And that basically, when you break the crystal of truth, that all of a sudden it becomes a dark crystal again, and oh, here we go, hijinks, fucking asue, shenanigans. I mean, fuck, man, I was waiting for like the Benny Hill, fucking I was waiting for that fucking tune to you open up the fucking page and that shit's like playing, because I'm like, damn, man. I was waiting for that soundtrack to happen. I mean, hell, maybe I probably had it in my head going, but you know what I mean? But that's how it was. It was damn ridiculous. I mean, these motherfuckers put the dick in ridiculous. I will testify to that shit. Good Lord. So that's a big problem, because it fucks up the continuity so bad. Messes it up so bad that it doesn't, it's just, it's nonsensical, people. It's like, doesn't make sense. And here's another thing. So after they figure out that, oh, well, the reason why that the crystal was not getting to Mithra. Oh, well, you're gonna love this, ladies and gentlemen. You're gonna fucking love this. I won't bury it anymore. You wanna know why? Because all the treasure, all the offerings, all the tributes, well, they were blocking the light from getting, because apparently, there's like in the center here where the crystal floats. Well, there's like a little ventilation. I mean, they kind of show you that in the dark crystal itself. You know what I'm saying? Because the crystal floats up, and then it kind of floats down. And the dark crystal age of resistance, because when they take the Gelfling essence and the Podling essence and try to rejuvenate themselves with it, well, shit, it shows it go back down, until where the scientist does his dastardly work. Well, yeah, and there's a big circular opening, and yeah, that's where the light shines down into the center of Thrall Mithra, where the Ember Queen and the Firelings live. And so yeah, all the treasure, all the loot, all the dowry, or whatever the fuck you want to call it, was blocking the way. The only thing you need to do is just move that shit to the side, and there you go. Because you just need a little slither, just a little taste, of the light from the crystal for everything to be whole again. Yeah, that's just fucking dumb. Who'd have thunk it? Apparently not them. All right, and then after and then here's another thing. This is just fucking beautiful. We get into, oh well, once Kenshu puts the damn shard back on, well, the crystal, well, it fucking it instead of becoming the crystal of truth again, it becomes, well, get this shit, reborn. What did it do? It's like, what the fuck, man? The crystal gets reborn. It becomes a new damn crystal. Why didn't do it the first fucking time? Who knows? Because the chanter does the great conjunction again, the third great conjunction, and with all this shit happens, well, now all of a sudden, let me tell you, now the crystal's reborn. Now the Urskeks, now first it was like, ha 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 ha, it was a mirage, it was a fake, it was a facade, it was a fucking Houdini, basically. Now we go up to the stars. Before you thought that we went up there, no, fooled you. Now we go. And guess who's going with them? Yeah, you fucking guessed right. It's Jen and Kira, because they're like, come on the Fantastic Voyage with us. Come on, bring your bullshit, bring your tears, bring all your fucking burdens. Just bring them on, and we going on this shit. Fuck Mother Agra, your ass staying here, you dumbass bitch. Nah, Jen and Kira, you got rite of passage, come with us. Fucking Voyage of the Stars with us, on the fucking love ship of the fucking universe. And that's what happens. And yeah, so they it's like Jen and Kira go up to heaven or some shit. And then Kensho and Therma. Well, her mother died, or her mother did basically kind of did some like basically sacrificed herself, gave her essence to her daughter, and so she could reignite the fires and stuff like that. And now she became the Ember Queen. Therma is now, but I think like once the crystal was reborn, that her family came back and all that jazz, and everybody's all good and excited and fucking fantastico. And but still, Therma is still the Ember Queen, and so Kensho, well, he's like the kind of like the leader of the Gelflings now, in the castle of the crystal of truth. And so basically, and they both love each other, and like because they try to dream fast, and well, the Gelflings call it dream fast, they call it fire fast, the firelings, and they couldn't because she would burn him. But like I said, the old trail of tears. I'm sorry, the pond of tears, pool of tears. There we go. Well, hell, that made him immune to all the fiery stuff of her burning him, so they could like dream fast with each other, and that's where we see Saluna and Chael and all this jazz, the Doosan clan and all that, and that, like I said, that happens in issue 10 because they're in the pool of tears and doing that stuff. Oh yeah, the Chamberlain, Lord Chamberlain, the old Skeksis, just kind of goes all fucking buku apeshit during this damn thing. I mean, this guy. I mean, there's like so many times where they should just kill this motherfucker. I mean, he was so damn annoying in the story. And you know what? At the end, he still doesn't die. And apparently, the Lord Chamberlain, the other half of him, is the Chanter. Kind of makes sense a little bit because the Chanter's a rogue, the Lord Chamberlain. If you've seen the Dark Crystal and you've seen the Dark Crystal Age of Resistance, and if you read the power of the Dark Crystal, well, the Lord Chamberlain, he's a bit of a misfit. He kind of plays by his own rules, kind of a rogue himself. Always trying to grasp that power any which way he can. So, I mean, it makes sense that the Chanter and the Lord Chamberlain would be polar opposites of the same coin. Two sides of the same coin. That makes sense. Still bullshit though, but it makes sense. What else? I mean, the story is just weak sauce. I mean, it's just fucking weak. It just is. I mean, yeah. Yeah, I talked about, what do you call it? Yeah, I talked about Jen, Kira going up into the heavens because they old crusted sons of bitches. What else? Talked about the ending where, yeah, it was just the opening was just blocked by the treasures. That's just fucking stupid. Mother Agra, yeah, she doesn't really play it. She plays like a bit role in it. I mean, she, for all intents and purposes, I mean, hell, it's like she kind of like Indiana Jones and Raiders Lost Ark. You know what I'm saying? I mean, Indiana Jones does not play a significant role in the damn movie. I mean, the Nazis, when they opened up the Ark of the Covenant, they just would have died. I mean, they didn't need fucking Indiana Jones's help to do that. I mean, they just would have opened it up and they would have fucking died. Indiana Jones did not even need to fucking be there. I mean, the same outcome would have happened whether or not Indiana Jones was there or not. Same fucking thing with Mother Agra and her fucking prophecy. I mean, at one point, I mean, Therma says her own damn prophecy, or says something that her mother said to the same effect that Mother Agra was talking about the whole slither thing, of light. And yeah, it's just, one world must not, it's something like one, it basically, they said it wrong. It's like one world must shine for another one to survive, or something like that. Something crazy. And they were thinking that, hey, one has to die for the other one to live and stuff like that. But they read it all wrong. It was just basically, a light has to come down for the other one to shine as well. So, or the light from the one, world has to come. Yeah. I mean, it's a headache, man. It is fucking crazy. I didn't like that it was 12 issues long. That's another thing too. The pacing sucked. I mean, yeah, I mean, this thing could have been 8 issues. It could have been 6 for all intents and purposes. I mean, they padded this son of a bitch, and let me tell you something. Yeah, the graphic novels, there's 3 volumes of this shit. And each volume is about like it's $15.99. I mean, hell, DC and Marvel, I mean, you get at least one, or you get at least 6 to 7 issues for the same damn price. I mean, Boom Studios is ripping a motherfucker off. They a son of a bitch. I mean, they could have made it 2 volumes, but they wanted to make it 3. I mean, hell, they could charge $16.99 for 2 more issues, and you would have volume 1, volume 2. Now you have 3 volumes because now they just fucking greedy. Ain't that fucking ironic? Talking about greedy, and the fucking greed is what fucking almost killed the Gelflings, and yeah, and greed is what killing this fucking book. But yeah, what else? Oh yeah, here's the thing too, is that yeah, Thrall was dying. Okay, so basically what the mystics were chanting, the song, it was basically the final rites of Thrall, because Thrall was dying, because the crystal of truth had broken and the dark crystal was back, so everybody was gonna fucking die. It was gonna be one big old fucking eulogy and obituary for Thrall. And yeah, so, but the crystal was reborn. Mother Agra, I think, was reborn again. That old fucking coup. Yeah, so, oh, crotchety bitch. Yeah, I just did not. If I'm being perfectly honest, I didn't like it. It's not for me. It's not for me. Um, do I understand why that they didn't do a sequel? Yeah, I understand why they didn't do a sequel, because they didn't have a good fucking story for a sequel. Because they were like, hey, listen, look. Because, okay, here's the bad thing, is that you have 3 screenplays going on, or, or 2 screenplays, right? So that means that they took Craig Pierce's screenplay and Annette Duffy and David Odell's screenplay, and they basically merged them. Which, in Hollywood, it's like it. They take fucking screenplays, and they've taken a damn script to movies, and then they put and then they call it something else that's popular, like fucking John Wick or some shit, John Wick 4, and it's supposed to be like some. I mean, they did it with Deadwood, because Deadwood was originally supposed to be set in Roman time, so it's supposed to center around that, and HBO was like, well, they told the creator, like, hey, we already have this show Rome that we're doing, put a lot of money into it, and I know you want to be like do this. Is there any other time period we could do this? And he was like, and he was thinking about it. He was like, what about Western? And they're like, yeah, Western's good, Western's good. So he just kind of changed everything, around it being a Western. And a lot of people praise Deadwood. I don't really care for Deadwood, but I know a lot of people do. I like Ian McShane's Swearingen, his character. I mean, I guess, and Timothy Olyphant, he does a pretty good job in that, but I'm digressing. So yeah, you have multiple screenplays going on, and so there's not a clear-cut vision of what the fuck is going on. So you have this guy, Simon Spurrier, who's the writer. trying to make sense of all this malarkey. And his writing is not top notch. It ain't no fucking Joe Hill or Stephen King, I'll tell you that. Or he's no Grant Morrison or Brian Michael Bendis. Back in the day, Brian Michael Bendis. Now Brian Michael Bendis not really that great. Scott Snyder or Jeff Johns even. Simon Spurrier, you are not. And yeah, so he's having to make heads or tails of this damn thing. And yeah, Kelly and Nicole Matthews, well, they tried their damnedest to do some decent art, but it was just fucking ugly. I mean, the art reflects the book. I mean, it is a reflection of the book. I mean, at times, I will say, at times they do shine. There are some panels where I'm like, damn, that is really good art. But I will tell you this, what really kind of pissed me off is because I thought that we were getting Jay Lee art for the whole damn thing, or at least an issue or two, or, the first volume, because Jay Lee's art, you don't know who Jay Lee is. Jay Lee is the person who did Stephen King's Gunslinger Born series. And then he did Gunslinger Long Road Home. He did Batman / Superman. That set of books for New 52. Jay Lee is a predominant, very well-renowned comic book artist. He has a very distinct style. Not Jim Lee, but Jay Lee. And Jim Lee has a very distinct style too, but Jay Lee, his is very kind of abstract in a way, kind of very Bill Sienkiewicz, I would say, would be like the closest to his. Kind of like his art reminds me of Bill Sienkiewicz, but you can tell the distinct differences though. But it is inspired in that way. But yeah, Jay Lee is a hell of an artist, and seeing that first cover, I was like, woo! Oh yeah, we gonna get this baby. And then I look in the damn book and I'm like, what the fuck is going on here? So yeah, that was disappointing as shit. Because I was up here and then they brought my ass down to here. You know what I'm saying? Or maybe a little bit down there. Yeah, it was that was a all killer. And that was all filler too. Not like here at Filmlites where it's no filler, all killer. Yeah. No, that was all in all. But yeah, so that was disappointing as hell. And then it just seemed like as the book went on, it got worse. Either they were rushing the last books out, or I don't know what the hell happened. But yeah, it's like as the book progressed, it was just getting worse and worse. So it's just it doesn't fit the tone, doesn't fit the book. I mean, well, it fits the book as in it's a piece of shit. I mean, it serves the story for what it is. But let me tell you something. I mean, I would not pay $4 a fucking issue for that. No, thank you. You got to go back to art school or where the fuck you got your artistry from. I mean, I'm not an artist myself, but damn. I mean, I would never pay $4 for that. I would rather have some like Mark Silvestri. Hell, I'll take fucking Rob Liefeld over that shit. And that motherfucker can't draw feet. And I actually like Rob Liefeld. Not Todd McFarlane, and they're not. Yeah, it's just the art's a no-go in my book. But it does serve the story because the story reflects the artistry. So, and yeah, the ending being open-ended, I mean, it's fine. I didn't like a lot of I didn't like that there wasn't a lot of exposition going on in the book as well. It didn't seem like it was really fleshed out enough. there wasn't a lot of dialogue. I mean, I mean, I read one book, I think, in like 5 minutes. One of the issues in like 5 minutes, 5-7 minutes. I mean, it's not. I mean, a good issue, a good fleshed out issue should take like 10 to 15 minutes. Like, and I tend to read slower because I like to look at the panels. I like to look at uh, the placement of everything. I like to look at the detail, and try to get psychologically where the artist was coming from and stuff like that. Why they picked this certain way? Why did they make it a vertical panel instead of a horizontal panel? Why did they make it this big? Like this big compared to like this big, or a damn splash panel. You know what I'm saying? I mean, why do they pick this? I try to get into the psychology and the psyche of all of it. But yeah, this one I didn't want to get in anything except get the fucking story wrapped up. That's kind of like how I was. I mean, I looked at the panels. I mean, but it wasn't, like I said before, it just was not blowing up my skirt. It's nothing to cry home about. I mean, I guess the biggest disappointment is that, I just, my biggest thing is just, I'm just disappointed mostly that the Jim Henson Company would just, Lisa Henson, who I praised on the last Filmlites about like the Dark Crystal and Dark Crystal Age of Resistance, that they would actually fucking allow this to be made like this, like, no, have it made, but have it more fleshed out. But just, that's where I would have liked to have it, and have a better artist or artists on it. I mean, if you got to do two, but have two artists that have similar um, art style, like a Jay Lee and Bill Sienkiewicz. I mean, hell, I guarantee you, Bill Sienkiewicz, I mean, he still does fucking art. He would have probably loved. I mean, the guy probably seen the Dark Crystal, the original one. I mean, hell, dude's older than fucking me. I mean, I think the man's in his 50s or 60s. I mean, he probably saw that when he was a fucking teenager. He probably would have loved to have paid homage to doing an arts, doing a full interior next and cover for it. I mean, it's not like the man is like fucking high dollar. I mean, he ain't no fucking Jim Lee. Like, I mean, the guy loves to draw. Hell, he did Harley Quinn. I mean, I have all the Bill Sienkiewicz Harley Quinn. I think he did one. I think he did the Zero issue, or the Rebirth #1, and then Harley Quinn Rebirth 1 through 6, the variants. I have all those, and they look so cool. They look fucking slap damn tacular. And I love it because I love his artistry. But you could have got those two to do that. And I'm not going to say that these people don't have talent, because that's not right. But it just does not fit the book. I mean, it doesn't fit the world. Because if you look at the movie and you look at the Dark Crystal Age Resistance, the 10-hour movie, or season 1, it's very, very detailed. And Kelly and Nicole Matthews do not go into detail. It's very cartoony. It's very kid-like. And that's what kind of even is a detriment to the book, because it looks like it's made for fucking little kids. And the Dark Crystal isn't really, it's more young adult, themed. I mean, it's not really for kids, but it's not really, adults would be like, well, this ain't really my cup of tea. It's more like in that, 14 to like 17, 18, range, I mean, that's that's the demographic you should be shooting for, you know. And if you have an artistry like Jay Lee and Bill Sienkiewicz doing that, then you're gonna hit that demographic. I guarantee it. And it's just a detriment to the fucking book, because you make Therma looks like a little girl. I mean, she looks like because she's saying "I love you" to Kenshu, Kenshu looks like a fucking like he's 18, like he looks like a very young Gelfling, but you know, he's probably like a teenager, you know, like 18, 19, you know, or even 17. I mean, Therma, when they draw her, most of the time she looks like a little girl, like she could be like fucking 11, 12. I mean, it's really fucking weird. That's why I don't understand. It's very kiddish and just very cartoony. And that's what I was saying before. It's like later on, like the second half of the story, you see that shit. It's like they're rushing it for some fucking reason, just to get it out. And that's a detriment to the book and to the story in general. And yeah, I do apologize, ladies and gentlemen. I'm not trying to harp on this, but it's just this stuff that it's like a damn gavel just beating you over the fucking head repeatedly. It's just like, damn, suck. But it's there. But yeah, another thing is that I didn't like is that all the Gelflings act real fucking stupid. I mean, like all these characters, even Jen and Kira for a minute, just act like they have no common sense. I mean, they just act until like the bitter fucking end, and it's just because they keep on calling the Kenshu like a traitor or a villain and stuff like that. And you know, Kenshu is like not trying to kill anybody. He doesn't. I mean, when they're trying to kill him, because he keep on saying, "We just want the shard. We just want the shard. Give us a shard." And like he just basically, you know, he detains them, subdues them, and even like heals their fucking wounds at one point, bounds them. But he puts like some type of healing ointment or healing salve on their wounds, before he bounds them or binds them. You know, I mean, ties them up, restrains them, you know, and leaves them so Jen could find. I mean, and they keep on calling him like a villain and a traitor. I'm like, are you just fucking? I mean, it's not until the end when they're like, oh well, yeah, you know, they're like, oh, we were so wrong, we're so sorry, Kenshu. Oh, you were so right. You know, it's like it's so dumb. It's like some like Disney fucking happy ending bullshit. I mean, it's like, come on, man. I mean, that shit doesn't even fucking make sense. It just doesn't. I mean, it's so damn disappointing. Yeah, it's just, yeah. Yeah, I would say that another disappointment too is that basically we get glimpses of Jen and Kira, kind of like life after. Um, the Dark Crystal before they went into hibernation. It's like, for, uh, forever slumber, I guess you could call it. Because you see that they got married and stuff like that, and you know, it's like, I don't know if hell. I mean, they don't even say whether or not they have fucking children or not. I mean, but they did say that they got married and stuff like that, and they're in love with each other. You know, I would say that another disappointment is that they go into this hibernation and they don't take responsibility. They lost their way, right? That they have the crystalline eminence do all this shit, and they're just like, okay, bye, you know, and they just go in this fucking slumber for 1,000 years, and they don't give a shit. I mean, like, you could have went on more adventures. You could have had a crystalline eminence there, being the prime minister, and be like, okay, hey, bye, we're going on adventures. You know, instead of, okay, bye, we're just gonna go sleep. It's like, shut your mouth, go to sleep. You know, it's like, that's just so fucking stupid, man. It's just, and once again, it's the writing. Okay, it's the writing. It's just so. Simon Spurrier, fucking, what a fucking genius. Someone should give that motherfucker a hero cookie, because he's so damn good. Just a literary fucking genius. But yeah, so it's just, yeah, it's just chapping my ass right now. It is giving me the red ass. Shit, some give me the damn red ass. Hell, it's this. Bad fucking storytelling. That's what that is. But yeah. So yeah, I guess at the end of the day, like, I wanted something that was a compelling story, and something that I did. I mean, the nice thing is, and I was telling a buddy of mine I was out with yesterday, I was like, listen, look, I love Ghostbusters 2. And I know a lot of people say that there are similar beats to Ghostbusters 2 and Ghostbusters 1. And I see that a little bit, but there are different ones. But the fact of the matter is, I love Ghostbusters 2 because some facts that we got to go on another adventures. We got to go back into this world with the characters that I grew up with and loved. And then after the first movie, the real Ghostbusters came out, I think like a year or two after the movie, in the 80s, and I grew up with that. And then because of the success of that, that's why they did Ghostbusters 2. And what was it, 87, 89, I think? 89. Because the original came out, I believe, in 84, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah. So yeah, and but that's the thing too, is that I'm happy to have had another crack at seeing Thrall, at seeing all these familiar characters, and having new characters as well be the protagonists and things of that nature. But what I've liked to have seen, better execution, better storytelling, better artistry, and not feeling like I've been duped. You know, like I've done had the fucking rug pulled under me when it comes to the artistry. I mean, if the story is okay, but the art's fucking great, then who gives a damn? I mean, I'd pay $4 fucking $5, you know, for a single issue, because the art's fucking phenomenal. You know, I pay that 12 times. But I'm sorry to say that, because for me personally, it's like the reason why I like graphic novels and comic books and stuff like that is because of the art, because it's captivating. It grabs your attention. That's what it's supposed to fucking do. But when it looks like fucking like little cartoony shit, I mean, and you expect me to pay $4, $5 for one damn issue, you are out of your goddamn mind. And you need to check yourself before you wreck yourself and fucking, you know, your damn company. Because that shit's bad for your health. But yeah, so and that's just it. That's what I wanted to see. That's what like I said before, I'm glad to see these characters again. Okay. I'm glad that there is a sequel, even if it is in graphic novel format. Would I have liked to have seen it in live action? Yeah, but I understand why that they didn't do it in live action, because they didn't have a damn compelling story. there's more compellingness. There's a better compelling story with the division between the Skeksis and the Gelflings, and then you build up to the Gartham War and the demise, almost the fucking genocide, damn near genocide of the Gelflings, and they go into hiding. It's that's some very compelling. That's some very compelling, like, bullet points just there than what we got with the power of the Dark Crystal. You can make a story out of that. But that's also too, let me tell you something. The only thing is that you need a great writer to write something good. If they had a writer like Jeff Johns or Scott Snyder on this, or man, I'm trying to think, or James Tywin the Fourth, Peter J. Tomasi, shit, I mean, it would have been much more compelling. I guarantee you that. I don't, even if Peter J. Tomasi never even knew what the fuck Dark Crystal was, even if he didn't even grow up with it, I guarantee you, a person like, well, not really Brian Michael Bendis. Brian Michael Bendis would have done his own damn thing. It would have, continuity would have been fucked. So yeah, because he kind of does. Grant Morrison, somebody who, grew, get back to Peter J. Tomasi. Peter J. Tomasi never grown up with this shit. He would have done his fucking research, okay? Because the man fucking wrote, and I believe is still writing for fucking Batman now. The man is fucking all about continuity. The man wrote one of the best damn Superman books on the fucking planet. I mean, his Superman story before Brian Michael Bendis took the fuck over was great. I even picked up the fucking books because you had Clark and Jonathan Kent there, and Lois Lane, John Samuel Kent being their son, and them living in I believe like Smallville, or a place that's kind of like an allegory for Smallville and stuff like that. That's outside of Metropolis, and or right outside of the outskirts of Metropolis, and them going to like a county fair, and them just having family time, and them going off damn family vacation. That's all Peter J. Tomasi. He wrote the best damn Superman story that I've ever read, and that even better than Dan Jenkins, or Dan, excuse me. And he wrote the fucking Doomsday shit and the Reign of Superman and all that crap. He was 22 years when he did that. But if you have Peter J. Tomasi on this damn book, I guarantee you it'd be more goddamn compelling than this shit. And you could make a fucking live action out of it too. I guarantee you that. That's for real. But yeah, excuse me, ladies and gentlemen. Sorry, I'm getting a little heated. Woo! My biscuits are burning right now. My ass is still red. Still got the red ass. I think it's just getting more red. Getting redder. But yeah, so yeah, I'm gonna start winding it down now. But yeah, that's basically my likes, my dislikes, what I would have liked to have seen. And like I said before, this is my take on it. This is my interpretation of it. I mean, you don't have to take my word for it. If you want, you can go online. You can get the digital copies yourself if you want. Pay the $4 for a fucking digital copy of that stuff. Or you could buy the volumes, and spend $15 for $16, $15.99 for 4 issues, and get all 3 volumes of that. But yeah, so and then you can decide whether it's a dumpster fire like I'm fucking saying it is, or actually you see it as as it's a pretty rough cut diamond, but still a diamond nonetheless, just a little rough cut. But yeah, so yeah, I'm gonna start winding this down. I'm gonna get off now. It's been an hour and 20 minutes that I've been on this. I was just trying to get an hour out of it. Damn. But yeah, but hey, thank you so much, everybody, for going on this fantastic voyage with me, and allowing me to talk about this Greek tragedy. Nah, this sequel to the Dark Crystal, the Power of the Dark Crystal, and then and oh yeah, we're gonna talk about the sequel to the sequel coming up here, which is called Beneath the Dark Crystal. What a name. But no, we got a different writer, because apparently Simon Spurrier, I mean, I guess they canned his ass, and they had this guy Adam Smith come in and write 12 issues of this. Now, whether or not Kelly and Nicole Matthews are back, time will tell. I don't really know. But yeah, Adam Smith is the writer of Beneath the Dark Crystal, so yeah, and then yeah, we'll get into Beneath the Dark Crystal on Filmlites, the sequel to the sequel of the Dark Crystal. And I just want to say once again, thank you so much, everybody, for once again going on this fantastic voyage with me. I surely do appreciate it. If you want to be so kind, give the video a thumbs up, share with your friend. Hell, share with two. Hell, share with multiple friends. Share with your best friend. If you have a lover and they have a friend, well, share it with their friend. If you have multiple lovers and they have friends, well, hell, let them share with their friends. But yeah, I just wanted to, and also too, it's like, yeah, if you want, subscribe to the channel. I mean, if you don't, it's all right. And if you don't give the video a thumbs up, you give it a thumbs down, that's okay too. If you want, comment below, let me know your thoughts. If you think I'm just, some crazy curmudgeon, just cynical bastard, well, you can let me know that in the comments below. I'll read it. Or if you think, yeah, I do have a damn point, and it's like I like your rants there, oh handsome cobra. Then let me know that too. All right, everybody, like I said, I'm gonna get off now, so just want to say love to all, God bless, and as always, the magic word, magic time, aloha. Hell yeah.